Hey, hello, good evening. Today it's Sunday evening, it's 9:30. Today I want to talk about a small piece from my book. I have it in front of me. I won't tell everything, so if you're interested, you can find my book called Milestones on Amazon under my own name, and I will put the link down below, so if you are interested, you can check it out. Okay, here it goes. During the summer of 2005 I got psychotic again. This time it was for real. In my mind, fantasy and reality got mixed up together, and because of that I did many weird things. One day I had a car from a friend and I drove around it with after voices told me I could. Without noticing, I kept this car for several days. Since I was time traveling, dimensions were woven together and fantasy and reality disappeared. I lived in the past, present and future. Everyone was after me and I was the center of it all. I had thoughts that there would be a war and that everything would be destroyed. During that time I had several stories woven together and believed in that. Every day a few, which were combined. Everything I'd ever read or saw was in it. Fantasy from books, movies, music, people I knew. Computer games came to life and I was sucked into that, in different dimensions. UFOs, Jedis from Star Wars passed by. My reality changed and I lived in a robotic world with electromagnetic energies and street signs which could read my mind through my eyes. In my reality of that moment, I saw spirits from people passing by. I walked naked outside, saw dinosaurs, Christ, spaceships, castles, etc. The main theme was war. Saw images of people passing by who were talking to me. Even the TV talked to me. In this way I drove around in that friend's car for several days, in which I luckily didn't cause any accidents. At one moment I also thought that I could drive through a truck, like Knight Rider, the series. Through dimensions I could travel through that truck. Saw people shouting against me to do so. Without noticing I was on the run, far removed from reality at that moment, and I believed in an upside down world. Green light was red, sweater on was sweater off, door open was door closed in another dimension. When being at home, I even drank shampoo and things like that, because it was good for me. Many other things happened, but I can't recall everything. Tried to predict the future big time. After several days, my parents brought me to a conversation with a doctor. I think it was a psychiatrist, but I'm not sure. Maybe even a psychologist. After that, I was brought to a hospital close by in Purmerend. When I got in my room, I got medication and I fell asleep immediately. Days passed by and I can't recall much of that time. I was in the closed section, like I woke up 2 weeks later. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw images, people, voices, fantasy. I lost it and couldn't think straight anymore. The medicines were very heavy. I had to take multiple medicines, and because of that, I was tired all the time. Like I had to learn everything all over again. My parents visited me every day. Thought that wasn't necessary, but years later I thought it was a good thing they did for me. Was grateful. In my point of view, I didn't do anything wrong, I thought. In the closed section I drew about my fantasy stories as if it was my own world. Saw people who weren't there. They were there all the time, and I talked to them and enjoyed my conversations with them. That was something normal for me, and I wasn't alone in that way and thought it was nice. Days passed by and I forgot daily what happened that day. Can't remember much. In the end phase of being in a closed section, I got a leaflet about schizophrenia. From the inside I laughed pretty hard. That couldn't be true. Me? Schizophrenic? Never thought about that. After 6 weeks, I was released and was allowed to go home. First an afternoon, then a weekend, on the strict condition that I went to another hospital in Amsterdam, AMC. The same hospital I went to before in 2004. They had a special department for psychotic and schizophrenic people. I followed their advice. Most of my fellow patients were from the same age, even younger. In hospital I got lessons about symptoms, but didn't understand it well. Eating together, watching the news, gymnastics, wood carving, etc. Like an education. In the evening I got heavy medicine, but less than in the other hospital. An own room. I did meet some nice people there. Among the tests they gave me were an MRI scan, ECG, and ECG. The MRI surprised me. It turned out that my brain shrunk big time, while my mind went like a madman for 24/7 on end. They showed me the red areas of the mind on the screen of the computer. I think it shrunk like 40%. Some other tests as well. My weight was very low, only 60 kilograms, so I had to eat a lot before I was released. Several months after being admitted, I was allowed to go home during the weekends after many conversations with my therapist. I also had a social worker to pay my bills. I wasn't insured anymore due to my psychosis. Didn't have any money. Because I was psychotic, I didn't pay the usual bills from the health insurance and phone company. That was a bad mistake. Didn't have a job since I went back to school again, and I was very low on budget. My father paid some of my bills when being hospitalized at the beginning of summer. Was really grateful for that. Many friends visited me during this time. That did me well. We had good conversation, playing games, drinking coffee and tea, something to take my mind off. I didn't realize how ill I was. The conversations with the therapist helped me realize that. After 7... Okay, now it flips over to another page, so I don't know what it's about. Yeah, okay. Some pages are omitted from this book preview, so I can't tell you everything. Yeah, that's a pity. Let's see. What can we do? No, maybe I should leave it like that. Well, if you are thinking from, it could be interesting. This is just a small piece, but not everything is in the free section in a way. Then I will leave it like this. Okay, bye bye.